Chapter 2. The Soldier's Calm in Combat. Psalm 91, 1-2. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Staff Sergeant Jacob Monroe had always been the strong, silent type. Raised in a rural Kentucky town, he enlisted in the military not long after high school. Combat didn't scare him, at least not at first. But after multiple deployments, the intensity of war began to chip away at the steel in his soul. The smells, the sirens, the sound of distant gunfire, they all etched themselves into his mind. Stationed in Afghanistan, his unit was tasked with monitoring and securing a hostile area near the border. The pressure was suffocating. There were no off days, no breaks from alertness. Sleep was sporadic, and Jacob often found himself pacing the perimeter under the stars, reciting Psalm 91, the passage his mother had taught him before his first deployment. One evening, intelligence came in that an attack was imminent. Jacob's team hunkered down, nerves fraying with each passing minute. Around midnight it happened. Gunfire erupted from the hills, mortar shells thundered into the compound, and chaos exploded. Jacob scrambled for cover. Screams filled the air. A young soldier beside him took a hit in the leg, screaming in agony. Jacob dragged him behind a barrier, as bullets tore through sandbags just inches above their heads. Heart racing and hands shaking, Jacob whispered, "He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust." The words weren't just a recitation anymore, they were a lifeline. He repeated them like a shield, whispering through gritted teeth as he applied pressure to his comrade's wound. Something shifted inside him. Amid the pandemonium, a deep calm rooted itself in his chest. He was still scared, but not undone. He wasn't alone. The firefight lasted nearly an hour before backup arrived and the attackers retreated. The soldier Jacob saved lived, and Jacob was awarded for bravery. But when people asked him how he stayed so composed, he didn't talk about tactics or training. "It wasn't me," he said. "It was the peace of God. It wrapped around me like armor." From that night on, Jacob became known, not just as a strong leader, but as a spiritual anchor. He started a Bible study for his unit, reading Psalm 91 before every mission. Many hardened soldiers began to open up, praying with him in the silence of the desert night. Peace didn't mean they never saw danger again, but it meant they never faced it alone. Jacob returned home a decorated soldier, but more importantly, a man forever changed by the shelter of the Most High. His nights were no longer haunted by the memories of war, but transformed into moments of intercession for those still on the front lines. He often shared his testimony at churches and veterans groups, recounting that night when chaos reigned, but Christ reigned higher. One of his most powerful moments came when he visited the family of the soldier he saved. The young man had recovered and gone on to become a medic himself. The soldier's mother embraced Jacob in tears, whispering, "God used you to give me back my son." Jacob didn't take the credit. "It was the Lord," he said. "He's the one who held my hand steady, who gave me the strength, who gave me the peace to do what needed to be done." Years later, Jacob would return to Afghanistan, but not with a weapon. This time he came as part of a missionary team, distributing Bibles, food, and hope to those displaced by war. He walked the same dry, broken ground, but now as a man full of peace, offering the same word that once saved him in the middle of a battlefield. He often visited hospitals and rehabilitation centers back home, ministering to soldiers battling PTSD. He would kneel beside their beds, recite Psalm 91, and hold their hands until the trembling stopped. The same calm that carried him in battle now carried others through invisible wars of the mind. One soldier later wrote him saying, "You didn't just pray with me. You brought me back from the edge. I still hear you whispering that scripture. I sleep now, I live now." Jacob knew that peace wasn't something you found on a map. It was something you carried with you. And for the rest of his life, wherever he went, he carried the presence of God, wrapped not in camouflage but in calm.